a show that tackles the big issues affecting the BVI and the rest of the Caribbean. Searches for answers to today's big questions and gives viewers a unique perspective on developing stories. Follow the big story with me, Kathy Richards, only on GTV. This show is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Cyril B. Romney Turtola Pier Park, NV Salon, Nail Spa and Barbershop, Tisley Cross Deliciously Smooth Cider, and Digicel, simply more speed, reliability and entertainment.
Plug into Digicel Plus and get even more entertainment with Disney Plus included. The best of Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and National Geographic all in one place. Whenever you want, plug into Plus to enjoy Disney Plus and much more with a home fiber bundle. Sign up today. Digicel Plus.
This is The Big Story. I'm Kathy Richards. I want to thank you so much for joining us for this edition. This is a very special edition for me, for you, and for my guests, because we could never overstate the importance and the role that service organizations and the clubs play within our communities, whether it be here in the Virgin Islands, whether it be in the on the regional scene or on the international scene. My guests today, with pleasure, is the District Governor for the Rotary family of District 7020. That is correct. Yes. Mrs. Deborah Howell, along with our Assistant Governor for District 7020, Ryan Luck, who's not a stranger to the set. You know, he wears so many caps. Yep. But it's a pleasure to have you, and I must say, on behalf of the JTV family, welcome home.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and I am ecstatic to be home. Thank you.
Great. Ryan, first I'd allow you to tell us a little bit about the significance of our structure. Yep. As a Rotary family.
No, but happy to, Kathy, and thank you again for having us. It's always a pleasure to be here on set of The Big Story. So yeah, I mean, Rotary's structure with it, I'll concentrate first within the district, because that's the most important of what we're focusing on today. Is we're referred to District 7020, which is each district around the world has a number, and our district is unique because it's a very global district. It extends all the way from Anguilla, St. Bart's, and St. Martin on the east, and it goes all the way to Jamaica and Cayman on the west, with the exception of the Spanish-speaking islands, so Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and Cuba. So it extends all of those islands, and plus to the north it also includes Bahamas and Turks and Caicos as well. So overall about 10 countries and territories. So District Governor Deborah will she oversees all of the clubs within District 7020, all 86 clubs? 88 now, 88 clubs. Yes. Always growing. A few years ago we were at 82, now we're at 88. So she's essentially the head honcho over all of us in District 7020. So she oversees the clubs here in the BVI, in Cayman, and in Turks and Caicos, and wherever. So we're all overseen by in each territory by either one or more assistant governors. So I represent the district governor here, the same as what the governor of the BVI represents the Queen. She's our Queen. So
indeed,
I like how you put it in that way. But there is some uniqueness about, or something special about you, Mrs. Howell, being the district governor. Not so long ago, we had from the British Virgin Islands, Mrs. Delma Maduro, who served as district governor. You are from St. Croix. You are from the U.S.
I'm representing St. Croix, yes, United States Virgin Islands. Mm-hmm.
And the sister territories on such a close relationship, and to see now that you are in that seat, I think the relationship is even stronger.
Well, you know, it's interesting that you say that, Kathy, because our first female district governor was out of St. Thomas.
It's true.
Oh, wow.
The second, PDG Delma Maduro, is from here. And third, I'm from St. Croix. So the Virgin Islands proper is leading this district and leading it very well.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yes.
I remember at the welcome by our governor of the Virgin Islands, the UK part of it. You got to put it.
Yeah.
You got to say out there because the governor thing can be
Right.
confusing.
Right.
Governor Rankin hosted your welcome, and
Yes.
the one thing that you said that stuck with me. I got BVI roots.
Yeah.
Trust me, and I do.
Tell us about
Furthermore,
it.
I'll say I'm a belonger.
Oh yeah, that's what you said.
That's
You
what
said
I
you are-
said.
yeah, you
I'm
are
a belonger. My mother is originally from British Virgin Islands. She's now passed, but let me break it down for you.
Yeah.
My family is from the Narrow, East End Long Loop. That's pinpoint. So my family maiden name would be Stevens. My great-grandmother or grandmother was what Hetty Bumper. So folks from Tortola know who Hetty Bumper was. That's my grandma. My mother was Christy.
Okay.
So yeah,
So some of your family, some of your relatives, close relatives, are who right now here?
well, close. I still have Charleswell, Foy, Penn,
Skeletons.
Skelton, some Scatcliff. So that whole lineage, because if you go into that long look area and you just go up that corridor, that's my family.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you right to claim your belongership status.
I do. Yeah, I mean, over time, you know, some of us have migrated elsewhere. So most of us that are alive are living either in the mainland or still in the USVI.
Okay.
So, but I do have some cousins that are still here.
All right. Cousin is cousin. You ain't got this.
Well, when I say that, I mean how the line goes down, you know.
Yes.
Because, of course, you may know Rosemary Flax. That's one of my cousins. Eileen Parson. That's one of my cousins.
Oh.
You know, so I truly, this is home. This is home, and I am so happy to be here. I'm so excited about what Rotary is doing here because we definitely represent.
Awesome. But before we go to Rotary directly just yet,
Yes.
I want to mind your business a little bit.
Go right ahead and mine on.
Tell us about your military background because I heard about that 36 years.
Yes, I did 36 years in the United States Army. I'm a logistician by trade, meaning all the logistical elements, but I've served in key positions. So I was a commissioned officer. I was commissioned in 1982. I retired in 2019 as a brigadier general. So I'm a retired, without a doubt, I'm a retired military officer. I served as the Adjutant General of the Virgin Islands National Guard in 2017 when Hurricanes Irma and Maria devastated. And of course, because I am a belonger, when the Brits came in and they needed a staging place, I was the one that made that decision to assist with them staging their logistics out of St. Croix so that they could come and help my people. So
we thank you for your service because what you would have done for the U.S. and the U.S. Virgin Islands really served us as well.
Yes.
And, you know, the names, the roots, and, you know, reclaiming it.
Yes, thank you
So
for that.
let's come more home
you.
to why you are here. You are, like we would have established, the district governor for 2020
Yes.
this year. And
Yes.
part of the rules is during your year, you should be able to visit at least most or if not all of the countries that you're responsible for.
So the requirement by Rotary International is by the 31st of December of your year, meaning the year that you serve as district governor, you're required to visit all of your clubs.
By December?
By
I thought
December.
it's within the period of
So
your
actually.
service.
So this is new to me.
No,
Woo.
it's by December 31st, you're required to visit. Because part of the reason you're doing your visits is because you're trying to assess the clubs, see where they're at. You're going to provide some motivational speeches. And if resources are required for them to be better or do better, you can offer them that. If you do it too late in the year, it cannot
Serve
impact.
no best for us,
Right, so
yes.
you need to be there while they're working it, and you can tell them if they need to change if the direction is going correct, and those that are doing well, you highlight that so that other clubs in the district can benefit from it. So if I come here and you see a good idea, you share it across the district so that all our clubs, because you're as strong as your weakest link.
Yeah.
So if all our clubs do well, then we do well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So far, so how many you would have visited?
I'm in, let me see, 4, 5. I'm just about at 60 now.
60? Wow.
Yeah, I was a bit aggressive in doing it. And the interesting thing is I set my own schedule, so I said this is a self-inflicted wound. It looks good on paper, but you gotta look at the transportation issues that we have in our region. There are times when you don't want to have to overnight in Miami, but that's the only way you can do it.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of navigating, but I went to Jamaica. I couldn't stay a long period, so I did 10 days, but I had 28 clubs. And I don't want to...
28 clubs in Jamaica only, right?
Yeah, in Jamaica only. And I didn't want to shortchange anybody because, in all fairness, if you're going to be the district governor for one, you need to be for all.
For all, yes.
So you should take that time to visit your clubs so that they understand that they're important. What they do is making a difference. We know that for Rotary, what happens at the club level is where the rubber meets the road. That's where things happen. That's where lives are impacted. That's where we make our impressions at the club level. So I need to make sure that I'm encouraging them.
All right. So tell me about what you would have seen so far while here in the Virgin Islands. Yes, you would know of some things because some things are a routine around among all the clubs in the district. But what are some of those things that you would have discovered while you were here that you found, okay, all right, I like? Tell me about those.
Well, it's kind of interesting because most times we don't realize how so much alike we are. So, you're thinking whatever issues you're having or whatever things you're doing, it's unique, but it's not. Most Rotary clubs are doing a lot of the same things. What I do admire about what's happening here is you're starting to look at collaborative efforts. You're working with other nonprofit and service organizations because you understand that if we all work together, the impact is greater. Okay? You're also looking at real needs. You do have gaps between the government and between Rotary. And you're figuring out how best to work that. You're working quite a bit with the youth service arm. And I really believe that that's where we're going to make a difference. That's where we're going to change the world. And your clubs are doing that here.
Wow.
It's rather exciting. And then I also look at the next generation of Rotary. Okay? Folks have a tendency to think we're old people. We're not. Okay? So you're seeing younger, vibrant, up and coming community members being involved in Rotary. And that's the key. So, we'll survive because the future looks great. Those coming behind of us are doing great things.
I'm feeling very good when you see the younger ones coming behind and your hands are going like that.
Yeah, exactly. Just pushing you away or something.
You getting compliments. You're among them.
Exactly.
Indeed.
Yes.
But it's really exciting. I mean, you ought to see it from my bird's eye point of view. You go across the district, and I don't want to give anything away because I'm very competitive and I have my awards.
I realize that,
I am. I have all my awards that I want to give, but I gotta leave a little secret there because if I tell you all the clubs that would be, then they won't come to, and then they wouldn't come to St. Croix for conference to join me when I'm making that big effort. But I must say, the one thing that I did express to your clubs, because I see them doing above and beyond, and I want to recognize above and beyond as well. So there's a special category of a blue diamond, which is rare, for awards, and I really believe at least 2, maybe 3 of the clubs here will be in line for that. So that's That's good news.
And the clubs are familiar with the criteria for...
Oh, they surely
yeah.
are.
Yeah.
They surely are.
Oh, the competition caps are on.
And they're working it. But although they're competing, they're still collaborating because they talk so much about the different projects that they're doing together.
Yeah.
You know, so.
On your itinerary, I was really happy when I noticed that among the Rotary family that you would have also met with the Lions, not separately, but as one body. Talk to me about that kind of collaboration.
You know, that's really exciting. But that's Rotary's new mantra because we realize that as big as the world is and the needs that's steadily increasing every day, we really have to partner to make a difference. So if an organization is doing something, it's better for me to sit down, have a conversation with them. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses. So if Rotary's strength is in mass media or getting the information out, then fine. If Lions is in some other area, say logistics, fine. Because as we do it together, we're gonna have a great product. A great end product, just doing it that way.
And you alluded to a little earlier about the involvement or the incorporation of the youth arm. We have the Rotaractors, we have the early acts, you know. These are very much growing bodies here as well.
Well, let me tell you, I had the opportunity to meet with, I want to say Cedar School.
Yeah, Interact Cedar School.
Their Interact yesterday. I'm a Methodist, and I tell people, you know how we say our heart was warmed after Charles Wesley? Well, my heart was warmed as I sat there listening to them, okay? And they presented a check for $1,000 to, I can't say American Red Cross. What's your Red Cross?
Oh, it would be, well, British Red Cross, but it was actually to the
Cancer
Society.
Society.
Yes.
To the Cancer Society. And I'm like, well, school just got started, okay? How could they raise $1,000 already, okay? And then they didn't raise it for them. I'm sure they could have told you all kinds of stuff they wanted to buy.
That's cool, yes.
But they wanted to give it to an organization that could help other people. So that's the impact of the Rotary family. Once we ingrain in them, life is not only about you, but helping, you know. Humanity is important. I really felt so good. I looked at them, you know, 11th, 12th grade, in that, you know, junior, senior level, and I'm like, if they're thinking like that, I even call them future Rotarians.
Oh, yes.
Because I want them to come back and be a part of Rotary because they already understand how we function, what's important to us, and how we give back. And that was so good. It was a good feeling. It really was.
I could imagine.
It was.
Yeah. And Brian, both of you, I want you to talk to this because very often we come into this a little roadblock. I mean, you would not have everyone accepting you or your club for what you stand for, what you are. There is the notion still out there that the Rotary is for the elitists. It's you even hear that it's a cult. You hear it's what they refer to it as what's
Well, we don't need to more
yeah,
sense.
you know, so many names are put to Rotary and other service organizations that they really are not.
And it's really just a lack of understanding. You know, initially Rotarians and most other service organizations would tell you, I don't do it for the recognition. I just do it, you know, it's in my DNA, it's a part. So we've really launched public relations and public image campaigns so that people in 2022 aren't asking, what is Rotary? You know, that shouldn't be, they should know. So it's incumbent upon us to make sure we get that information out to people that we are a service organization, we can assist, we can mentor, mold, all the things that we can do. We need to be telling the public our story, and we haven't done that well.
Yeah, no, a lot of times we're our own worst enemies when it comes to that. We do amazing things, but half the times people aren't aware of them. So it is something that all the clubs are working on and things like that. And it's not necessarily about the photo ops, but it is sometimes pictures do say 1,000 words, and they need to be out there in the public, and we need to be showing the public the great things that Rotary does and the great things that we do around the community. So it's something that you'll be seeing a lot more of, and I think you have seen a lot of aggressive social media campaigning to try to tell our story and to show people what Rotary is really all about, because anybody within the organization will tell you that it certainly isn't what those persons outside are saying. Is we are an exclusive, we are an inclusive organization. We accept anybody. We have our own diversity and equality and inclusion policy that's pushed out from Rotary International to say that we're an organization for everybody. And there always is something for everybody within Rotary. It's not because you have money and things like that. No, once you have a heart and you want to give back, we have avenues to do it. I mean, a good example of that is a Rotary Community Corps that Rotary started earlier last year, which is, it's not members of Rotary, but it's persons who have the heart and the passion of Rotary, who might not necessarily have the time every single week to dedicate to meetings and so on, but they still want to give back. Well, Rotary has that function of creating a community, what we call a community corps, to give back. They have their own projects, they have their own organization, and boy, are they doing a lot of great work. I mean, to be honest, I said to him the other day, I said they're putting the Rotary clubs to shame sometimes because of all the good things that they're doing. But it's just, it's an example of how the movement of Rotary is what I said to the clubs last night, is that Rotary's a lifestyle. It's not just a membership, it's a lifestyle, it's a way of life and how you carry yourself and abide by what we call a 4-way test of our ethics and our values. And that's what makes Rotary, and that's what makes Rotary special, is we're one of those organizations who have an ethical code that we have to live by.
Mm-hmm. So you just said we have to live by, that we live by a 4-way test. We hear these terms out there, and then I'm like, what are you talking about? So you can tell us what your 4-way test is. Okay. I should say ours, because I'm
there we go. Don't forget that.
Yeah. So the 4-way test is.
You want? Okay, I'll start. We always start of the things we think, say, and do, because it's important for people to understand it's not just our actions, but it's in our thoughts, and it's in what we say as well. So we always start the 4-way test with the things we think, say, and do, or do or and do. I got caught with
the things we think, say, or do.
So and then the first one is it the truth? So truthfulness and speaking the truth. And is an important one of the values of Rotary is whatever messages that we carry, we always make sure that they're truthful messages, and whatever we do, it's always in the name of truth. So that's goodwill. Exactly. And the next one is, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Yes. I mean, are we trying to be what I spoke about, being inclusive? Is it where we don't do things that divide the public? We don't do things that divide anybody. We want to create goodwill, and that was one of when we talk about the Rotary Foundation. The motto of the Rotary Foundation is doing goodwill in the world. So the word goodwill is something that's pervasive throughout our organization. Is we're always doing something great within our communities, within our countries, within the world. So that's the second one, and will it be beneficial to all concerned? So yeah, I mean, being beneficial is we want, again, we don't do things that only benefit one person. We know about conflicts of interest and things like that, and that's something that we speak about a lot when we do grant funding and so on, is conflicts of interest, because we want to make sure that everybody is to benefit, that it's not just for a certain person. So that whole concept is very important to us about being beneficial for everybody. And then the last one is beneficial for all concerned.
Yeah, that was it.
That was a fourth.
Yeah, that was a fourth. I missed one.
No, because you did. You covered
the things you think, say, or do.
So sometimes it sounds different in my head, and that's the thing. You get used to saying it all the time. That when you have to break it down to speak piece by piece.
About it, so you would have missed. One of the great things about Rotary, it's not only a regional workings. We go beyond. We're on the international scene, and there are things that we do together with our international partners to make lives better. One of the things that is being pushed really hard in this time is that of the eradication of polio. We know we were this close. Now we're saying.
Actually, we're still this close because we've gotten it down. We started in 1983, so it's been our long game. And in the last 2 to 3 years has been problematic because we were able to eradicate it from Africa.
Africa, yes.
So we celebrated, whoop,
Yes.
whoop. And then we had just two, Afghanistan and Pakistan. The war and some other issues kind of put a damper on it in terms of the inoculation of the vaccinations. So that gave us a little problem, but we're still this close. And then we just had the news of, New York
Yeah.
and UK, United Kingdom.
So close to home.
And what it is we've got to get the message out. Vaccine saves lives. Because if we were doing that, at least those in those areas would have been prevented. Because there are two types. There's the wild polio virus, which we find in the country, and then you have the one from the inoculation. I can't remember the exact term, but from those that are vaccinated, if you're not vaccinated and you come in contact, there's a possibility that you can be compromised. And so now you're not only compromising you by not being vaccinated, you're compromising your community, and we're seeing it materialize. So.
Yeah, the clock is coming down on us. I want
Yes.
so much more money to push it.
I know the hour goes fast, doesn't it?
It was a half
Thank you.
hour. If we could quickly touch on what's happening in Haiti, our hand wash program, building schools, wells, and all of that over there, and the situation is getting worse by the day. Our brothers and sisters there in Haiti.
Yeah, it's a sad situation. We're hoping that internationally some sort of intervention can come into play. However, we do know that our brothers and sisters, at least because they can focus on hand wash and what's happening there, it gives them an outlet. It gives them an opportunity to continue serving and take their mind off of what's happening. Because, Haiti is kind of like this, and the hostilities are happening right here in the Port-au-Prince area. But it's starting to permeate the entire place, and the hopelessness is starting to set in. So we continue to give them support. We continue to call them, do things with them for them to understand that we literally got their back. So we're going to continue working those programs, and our Rotarians on the ground, we're going to keep the lines of communication open, and we're going to pray overtime as well. We're going to pray overtime.
Can't stop that. Cease not in prayer.
You understand? Yeah. And hopefully that'll help some.
Yeah, I mean, the hand wash program, which is the Haiti National Water and Sanitation Program that Rotary has started over there, it's an incredible program, and when it's successful, to be able to provide water and sanitation to every household in Haiti, I mean, it's awe-inspiring that Rotary can do the type of projects like that. So certainly our thoughts and prayers are with Haiti, because it does fall in our district as well. So we know firsthand as to what goes on there and how important it is that Haiti gets the attention it deserves.
Okay, Mrs. Howell, 30 seconds to say whatever it is you want to say to the Rotary family of the Virgin Islands.
What I want to say to the Rotary family of Virgin Islands, definitely thank you for having me. Like I say, it's home, but even more so, I am just so proud of what Rotary is doing here. I've spoken to both the governor and the premier and expressed that as well. And they too are just enthused with what Rotary is doing. So I ask my Rotarians to continue doing that. Love my family, and thank you. Thank you, Sister Rotarian, for what you do as well, because you are such an important part of the community and what you do. Thank you.
And thank you, Ryan.
Thank you so much
And we're here.
Absolutely.
We're looking forward to making sure that our sister comes back when she's not necessarily in that capacity, but come home and relax.
Yes.
I'm looking for you.
Indeed.
All right.
Thank you.
I want to thank you guys for being here, and I want to thank you for joining us for this edition of The Big Story. I'm Kathy Richards.
We know that where you choose to bank matters, and it is your vote on what your funds do in strengthening our community. As your official Bank of Paradise, we invest and support the lifeblood of our economy by helping in the realization of personal goals for homeownership, education, and entrepreneurial visions, which support small businesses. We make it our place to connect with persons and worthy causes, and we have been doing so for more than 30 years. Where your money goes and what your dollars empower are your choice. And we thank you for choosing us. a bank that gives where it matters the most, for you, for our community, and a happier tomorrow. The National Bank of the Virgin Islands.